button and subscribe right now.
That they ended very quickly. So if Israel's right, I get it, and I agree. I agree. Sam, can you not interrupt me? You're not a mod.
But hostage, no, he can. Hold on.
Yeah.
Now he's a mod. So hostages.
Okay.
Hostages is the key factor. So if you're gonna bring up a comparable story, make sure it's comparable.
Sure. Can I get a chance to speak, please?
Yep. Go ahead.
Thank you. So what I was trying to say is, if Israel's having a tough time, right, taking out, well, I don't know if it's having a tough time, but if they haven't taken out Hamas yet, why do you think that civilians can take off Hamas? And are these civilians
Do you know she's a welfare queen? Everything gets paid for.
Sure.
Why do you think she's here right now at 1:56 CST on a weekday?
Okay,
Because she's a welfare queen.
Not having a hard fucking time.
I heard this one girl on this app once say how the government pays for her housing and gives her social security disability. It was the most amazing time. She was the happiest person I've ever spoken to on this app. She was super pro-America. She loved the benefits.
You need to understand that.
I do. That's my point.
Preserve life. These are strategic attacks, precision attacks.
She could have been actually like a seriously disabled person, but you don't know what the back end of this app is like for people.
I do know. I get it. If they did, it would be nothing but...
understand those talking tracks, you wouldn't come up off mic and embarrass yourself, young lady.
I don't see it as embarrassment. This is a conversation.
Apples and saying it looks like a fucking orange.
But this is a place to learn, right? So I'm not going to embarrass myself.
But the problem is you should learn, and I agree with you, and I apologize for his voice, but it gets me frustrated when you're trying to compare a war that Israel was involved in without hostages to a war that Israel is involved in with hostages, and at the same time you're hearing people saying Israel's so weak, they're losing the fucking war, and then they say it the same sentence, but they're too strong.
I'm not saying that.
Blow at the same time. It's called the blow job.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Look,
I'm not insulting her. I'm passionate because I'm frustrated.
You're having a good conversation.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm gonna take what you said, and I'm gonna do that. Hold on.
Thank you.
Also, Sami is one of the most sympathetic people, and Sami is Muslim, and she's really doing everything she can to be open-minded, which I find unusual.
I took 10 breaths, and I'm calm.
All right.
I have a problem with this, Sami. It's Justine, right? Sorry. Justine.
Yes.
If we're going to compare wars, they have to be identical. We can't compare a war where there's no hostages to a war where there's hostages. I think, and listen, we're just people on this app discussing things. I don't know what's going on in the Knesset with the IDF. I'm not privy to the phone calls. They don't call me and give me a briefing every morning and say, hey, Bibi, just in case we already let Bibi Netanyahu know, we want to let Bibi Clubhouse know. This is what we plan on doing today. You can share it with everybody in Clubhouse. It would be crazy for me to even think that I would be privy to that information. So we're all people on an app having discussions. And yes, it gets heated. And I do apologize. And Master, you're right. I should calm down. But I'm getting frustrated whenever somebody wants to make a statement and say, well, Israel's been in multiple wars. Why is this one taking this long? Or I didn't even get to hear the rest of it because right away I went from Israel to rest.
Yeah, because that wasn't my point. My point was that if Israel, is fighting Hamas, right? And the strategies they're using, right, is making it difficult to I guess get rid of them. Would you have some sympathy? Would you think that it's hard for the civilians that are ruled by Hamas to overthrow them? Do you think that it would be hard for them? Because
there was a prime example.
Because Iran can't overthrow IRGC, and that's a nation.
Because they will kill them someday.
Exactly. So there was a prime example.
Issue here.
There was a prime example when Israel told everybody to go to the south or the north, I forget exactly where, and Hamas was shooting them as they were coming because Israel was going to do an operation in the opposite direction. And Hamas says, fuck it, we want you to die. It looks good for the world. They have a fucking propagandist, a guy he's in charge of propaganda. He's in charge of the way the world looks at this. That's how sick this is. Do you understand? It's
Jeffrey,
fucked up.
can I say something?
Yeah.
Yasin, do you know that the Palestinians, who are not Hamas, actually have the biggest army in the Middle East with them? Do you know that, Justin? Do you know who is the army?
Can you say that? Can you say that again? Sorry.
The population, the so-called civilians, in Gaza, have the biggest army in the Middle East to fight for them against the Hamas. Do you know that?
Is it
Justin?
Iran?
What's the army? Is it Iran?
Israel, the Israeli army. He wants to destroy the Hamas.
Exactly. So that's the thing.
So why they are afraid of Hamas if the biggest army in the Middle East is with them?
Bingo.
And
Exactly.
And they are not helping the biggest army in the Middle East. What can we learn from that? Maybe the Palestinians are still supporting Hamas, Justin.
What are we fighting?
Maybe the one Hamas will win. Yeah. Because even though they have the biggest army in the Middle East with them, they are not doing anything to get rid of Hamas, Justin.
I have a question here, please. I see that most of the people who already talked believe that the strategies that Israel is following nowadays, which is war, is the most suitable or the right decision or the right way. But since when war already solves problems, guys? That's a question to you.
Ask the Hamas when they opened the war, how it solved their problem.
Well, when I ask Hamas indirectly, and of course by seeing what happened since 7th of October till now, I see that the hostages that you got, most of them, you got them from negotiation.
No, we got them because we made the pressure on Hamas. Yeah?
What
We made
pressure,
the
what pressure are you talking about? And at the same time, you
Hamas
say
was
that
afraid
they don't
to
care
lose
about
land.
their people.
Hamas was afraid to lose land, and he wanted to buy time, to maybe the world will make pressure on us. So he said, we will release 100 hostages, and we will buy time. Every hostage is a time. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Because
Yes, it is, darling.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Not a problem. You already say, and you already believe that Hamas doesn't care about their people. So they don't really need that time or something. And at the same time, you want the hostages back. And you got no hostages or released any hostages, maybe 2 or 5, I don't know, out of over the 100. And the rest you got by negotiations. In which which is the best option?
Every time we made an armed pressure, Hamas released some hostages.
And
Every time.
how long are we in this situation? Over 18 months now, right?
Yeah.
Negotiation is the best solution.
But there was about 3-week period before Israel went into Gaza that they could have done just that. Did they?
I'm sorry, again, please.
Before Israel entered ground operations in Gaza, it took about 3 weeks to get the men, to get the tanks, to get everything to go in. It's about 3 weeks, I think, maybe 2.5 weeks, something like that. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. They could have done exactly what you're saying, but did they?
Well, I tell you something, and I respect you. You know that.
I know.
I'm sorry if I disagree, but
question. You raised a really good point. The question, but it's my question to be is: you're saying they should just have given them back, right? Or are you saying only diplomacy gets them back? Which are you saying?
Diplomacy. And you say that 3 weeks ago there was no operation on the ground or something like that?
No, 3 weeks after October 7th, right? Israel said, give the hostages back, right? They could have made good faith gestures to reach out to Israel to say, okay, we'll give them back. Don't invade. Let's start talking, right? Let's, discuss this. There was no response.
No, there was a response, Yaakov, but the demands that Hamas said or asked for, Israeli authorities did not agree with.
Correct.
in the first 3 weeks.
Releasing so many names, Israel refused to release from the Israeli.
Why would we?
Yeah, why would we give you a prize?
Reward a crime?
Exactly.
Well, this is what happened, guys. You can check the news by yourself.
So we give them a prize. So we give them a reward about their massacre.
I didn't say that Israel was wrong. I didn't say that Israel was
You
wrong.
say no war, and so you give them a prize. That's what you're saying.
I didn't say anything like that. Yaakov asked
Yeah, exactly about Yaakov's question.
Yes, sir.
You claim that the Hamas made this October 7 massacre, yeah? And later, after that, we will give them a prize of all the murderers, the Palestinian murderers, back to Gaza.
Well, this assessment is an Israeli thing. So
This is exactly what you say. This is exactly what you say. You claim that Hamas wanted this.
I give you information, not idea.
What do you think about you say that negotiation?
You understand English?
You claim that negotiation is the best, not the war, right?
Yes.
So Israel should do it, right? Israel should have given them all what they wanted.
As a result of so many hostages get back by negotiation, not by war.
Yeah. So no war, but give them a prize. Release them all the murderers. That's what you say, Masvi.
This is how you get your hostages back.
And then, so we'll get hostages back, and then
We
what?
don't accept that. You don't reward somebody for committing a crime, After you're kind of not getting it.
Not a reward. That is not a reward. You have been trying.
What they say?
So wait a second. You got a lot of background stuff.
Let's talk about it.
Yaakov, you're not audible. Yaakov, you can't be heard. You're broken up, Yaakov.
What?
You're broken up.
Yaakov, you're in the matrix.
Okay, so Masri, very simple. You came and committed a crime. You need to return the people that you stole. These are stolen people. This is not a negotiation. This is a crime. There's two options. You either say, okay, I committed a crime. I'm going to return the people and pay for the murders that I committed. Or we are going to come and get our people and punish you for what you did. They had that choice from day one. What's his name? Sinwar thought that he was going to do another Gilad Shalit and get 2,000 prisoners or whatever for every Israeli. We're not willing to do that. There's a new sheriff in town, and the equation is now different. Not going to negotiate with the criminal to forgive them for their crimes and reward them. Every single hostage.
I feel like we need Elnorm with sound effects. Soundboard would be a lot. How do I get the soundboard
That's what a
going?
grown-up says.
Something outside
When
of
somebody does something wrong, you
using a
don't
cell
give them
phone.
a prize.
Let me just go to
You give them
YouTube
a
and type
punishment,
in
and you make it clear to them
Astral
that if they
Soundboard.
do it again, the consequence is absolute destruction. And that's what Israel is saying. And it's very fair.
No, not to mention, when did negotiating with rapists and kidnappers when was that ever effective?
Could you imagine somebody comes and commits a rape in the United States, and then they say, by the way, we want $100,000 in a Lamborghini, or $1 million in a Lamborghini. And you go, oh, well, sure, give us the people back and you can have your $1 million in your lap. I mean, this is absurd. On what planet take place?
No, God, please, no!
And people say that with a straight face like they're talking.
No!
Okay, do you know what they will do? Can I comment on that?
Sure, I'd love to hear you respond.
You already gave them two options, and the two options already are taken by the Israeli authorities. And what are the results? The military operations did not get your hostages back.
Fortnite balls, I'm gay, I like boys, I kidnap, I just get kids.
Calm down, hang on. We have most of the hostages back and we're
Leave it!
I
With war.
No,
That's my favorite one.
We made a military.
You got to the
You make a ceasefire for
Your life is different than mine.
Only
Your hair is different than mine.
all the Palestinians murderers.
Check out my new shoes.
Yeah.
They're brand new.
1, 2, back on my shelf, 3, 4, back on some more, 5, 6, Nike kicks.
That is so fire.
Muchas gracias, afición. Esto es para vosotros.
Israelis. Do you know what they will ask? Not for the prisoners. They will ask, okay, now,
I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear.
Jerusalem.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You will
we
receive
got him.
hostages. All the Jewish people must leave Tel Aviv.
Jerusalem?
This is what they will ask next time. Yeah. And Massa will say, of course.
Maybe we need to follow the news more than that, sorry.
Oh my God!
Following the news, you don't understand the situation.
No, nothing wrong, but I'm not manipulating the facts like
What do you think? Huh?
Say it again.
You commit a crime. Story.
Okay, that's fair. But when you do it, the consequences again to the people of let's see here, yo. So it means that
Wait a minute.
if I, as a Palestinian,
I'm white.
gave my vote to Hamas, so I
Where you going? Don't you ignore me. This is a perfectly good moment to throw your life away.
These are like funny meme sounds.
This man will wake up good enough. Give me a good blood clot, dog. What kind of little bumper clot dog this I'm give? In can't blood clot. You can't defend me.
I want to listen. Hang on a second. All of a sudden, you're pretending that you don't know what Israel has a very
How are you? I am under the water.
give us back
Please
our
help
people.
me. You're too much bleeding.
Therefore, we're going to make war. It's legitimate. We have every right in the world to make war. Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Don't start telling me the people are suffering, the people are suffering. That is Hamas's choice. Hamas chose to bring death and destruction to their own people, and now they can't get out of it. Gaza is finished.
Level 1 gap.
Gaza is destroyed.
Embarrassing.
No more Gaza.
Level 2 gap.
These people or this
I
army.
got something in my eye.
It's gonna be an
Level 3
entirely
gap.
new situation
Chat, this is a rare
with
gat
no
sighting.
tunnels and
This
no
is a rare
Hamas.
gat
And
sighting.
they're gonna start over, and next time they're not gonna allow
nothing.
a single bullet.
No one!
That's the situation that Hamas
Alright,
is.
it's all gone!
It's over.
Shit!
You're not gonna talk your way out of this one. This story is finished now.
All we did was rob the gas station. Y'all acting like we robbed Walmart or
me, I already listened to you, and I believe that what you say is true. Defending yourself is an international right to every state.
What's up, guys?
But when I defend myself, I must defend
evening
myself
and shit.
against the attackers. You don't need to
10:49
involve
PM.
innocent people in it. So if you really wanted to save your hostages, the operations are not a solution. War never solves any problem. Just negotiation.
Did you pray today? Cause if you did it.
Hold on, let me give you moderation.
some treetop.
I might have to
But he's contradicting himself, you know. He said you contradict yourself. So you say, don't do anything. We'll bring you the hostages in Hamas and we'll bring you the Palestinians prisoners. And that's it.
Sticking at your gap where there is no hope. You're so scared to do. You're so feeling taxed. I just want to be your Sigma.
You are not getting money back. Get out of my.
They want Israel to rebuild Gaza, and they want to hold on to some of the hostages until Israel rebuilds the Gaza, and this is not acceptable.
You know what, guys? I don't see that there's any point of interrupting each other. I didn't interrupt anyone, so why are you interrupting me? I don't know.
Because you're being dishonest. It's not just passive.
I'm sorry if you disagree. But hear what you're doing. I tell you the consequences of what you're doing. The consequences of what you're doing is not true.
Hamas wants Israel to rebuild Gaza. Hamas wants to stay in.
No, I'm just upset.
Oh, you are upset. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want some marshmallows for
I'm upset that we haven't gotten the opportunity to really silence you heathens as quickly as we want to.
You will slave our white women. So
not just the white women. We're gonna enslave all nations. All nations. All nations outside of Israel will be serving Israel.
Yes, this is going to be very nice.
Very nice, yes.
Yes, we shall drink a lot and have grapes.
Not we, just that's the Israelites.
Well,
You be drinking your own blood.
Well,
choking on it.
You have not heard of the latest prophecy that was discovered in Egypt.
Well, I'm not familiar with that history.
Yes,
so.
I know. You probably do not have a computer. I understand.
No, I have a laptop.
Well, aren't you an Israelite?
Do you know who the Israelites are?
Yes, you live in the desert.
Who are the Israelites?
You are a poor peasant in the desert, right?
Who are the Israelites?
I just told you. What else could you be?
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Low IQ Dumb People Talking About Nothing, wasting all their time on a weekday during a work hour. Unbelievable. Talking about nothing because they're bored.
Welcome back to this hillbilly.
Sharon, is it you in your profile picture?
Just running his damn mouth.
I'm asking, is it you in your profile picture?
I can't hear nothing you saying, nigga.
I'm asking.
Speak up.
Is it
Speak
you
up like a man.
in your profile picture?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, you look damn, dude.
Anyways.
Do you need a wax?
Yeah, go tell your mama. Go tell your mama about me.
Without all the Gazans.
But you can't get rid of the Arabs. There's Jewish Arabs too.
They want to try it because of the bomb.
We are going to do it.
Sam, hold on. What about the Jewish Arabs?
Wait, I don't know. She said there are Jewish Arabs in Gaza.
Jewish Arabs exist.
You know, the IDF discovered unicorns as well and dragons inside Gaza. They saw all kinds of things that didn't exist before you came here and used the new words. Wow.
Abdul is a Jewish Arab, and I like the music.
Wow, tell us, where are they living exactly in Gaza? In what part of Gaza are the Jewish Arabs?
They're in the IDF. What do you mean? They're in the IDF.
Yeah, they live in Gaza now?
Not Gaza, no, they live in Israel.
Yeah, but if they're in Gaza, there are Jewish Arabs.
No, I said Israel.
You changed it.
Jewish Arabs.
Gaza is not a country. Yeah, so why are
It's an area. So in the area of Gaza, you say that there are living Jewish Arabs there.
So are you saying okay, hold on. You said Arabs. Wow. You said no Arabs will stay here. That's what you said.
You said Arab Jewish who live in the area of Gaza, right?
I didn't say they live in Gaza. I didn't.
You didn't say that? I heard you say that.
Normal.
He said, what about not Jewish Arabs? We don't have any Jewish Arabs.
You can't be serious. Oh my God.
No, there are Jews who live in Arab land. They are not Jewish Arabs. They're not Arabs.
No, my in-laws are Jewish Arabs. Arab is a language. It's not a language.
No, yes, they are Jewish Arabs.
Hold on. Normal. Jesus was an Arab Jew. So you're saying it makes no sense.
He was a Jewish Jew. He was a Jewish Jew.
Isn't it hilarious, Master? How there's no Arab Jews?
I don't think you know what an Arab is. No, Arab Jews? I'm sorry, really?
There's never been an Arab Jew. What's an Arab Jew? It's a contradictory term.
No, it's not.
Muslim
Jew. They are referring to.
Oh my God! Jews are in Morocco.
Jewish in Yemen.
Arabic who have Arabic culture but are not Muslim. There are many of them, and their in-laws were fiercely. Yes, they were.
They're not. You don't know what an Arab is.
It's the language.
What is an Arab?
It's the language and it's the culture. It's not being a Muslim. Okay.
Jews have a different culture than Arab.
I know, but they
different calendar, different language, different politics.
Yes, I went to a Jewish restaurant. Yaakov, I went to a Jewish restaurant, and everything that was being served were Arabic food, like kebab, all this stuff. It was a famous Jewish restaurant.
Cultural appropriation, Samia. That's what they do best, right?
Different languages, different laws.
Yes, they are. I wasn't on those.
Hi, my name's Buck. How you doing this
morning? I'm unbelievable. How are you doing today?
Yeah.
What can I do for you, sir?
I publish Golf Wolf magazine. And looking for a new publisher.
Publisher? We sell copiers.
Yeah. Whatever. Get off my back. But we're looking for some machine here that can publish Golf Wolf magazine on a quarterly basis.
Okay, I'm sure that our sales department can pick the right machine for you. The sales representative is not in the office yet this morning, but I can put you through to his voicemail.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm unbelievable.
Wonderful. So what I'd like to see before I sign any kind of deal is an annual subscription from you, just as a good faith gesture.
I'm not the person you'd want to pitch that to. You need to speak to our sales department.
No, you are.
Can I send you up to his voicemail?
You are the person, actually.
I'm sorry?
Look, who publishes Golf Wolf? Me or you?
You do.
Right. And my name's Buck Pucker.
Right. Well, I only work here. Let me send you up to the voicemail of the sales representative, and you can ask him.
Why don't you meet me out on the green sometime, and we'll settle it once and for all.
You are not getting money back. Get out of my way.
Yeah, is this Eric?
Yes, it is.
This is Buck Pucker.
Yes, with Golf World Magazine, and you'd like us to have an annual subscription for you to buy a machine from us. But like I said, you'll need to speak to our sales department. Would you like to leave a voicemail for our sales representative?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. I unfortunately can't sell you a machine. I don't know all the information about the models we sell. I just answer the phones here.
Okay, but how are you doing today?
I'm unbelievable, as you asked me twice before. But if you'd like to leave a voicemail for our sales representative, I can transfer you up there, and you can let him know what you'd like to buy a machine from us.
Well, I'm on my way down there, and I'm going to bring my clubs with me. You know, give me what I need. What do you think of that?
Okay. This call may be recorded for quality control purposes, so if you do show up with the club, I can press charges for assault.
I'm going to press forward no matter what you say.
Absolutely.
Because I publish Golf Wolves. That's what you don't seem to understand.
A golf magazine. Wonderful.
It's the #1 golf magazine.
Thank you for calling BMC. How can I help you?
Eric, how you doing?
I'm unbelievable, but if you keep calling, I will call the police.
Oh, you're not going to believe your eyes, so let's go head to head. 20 minutes. What do you say?
Let me call the police.
Well, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Now, you just quit calling this goddamn number and leave us alone.
There's a box out front. I was just trying to clear it with y'all to find out if you wanted it or not.
We don't want no fucking box. Goodbye.
No, there's a box of limes laying out there.
Hello?
Yeah, I received a page today.
Hold on.
Dad? Dad? Dad?
Can you pick up the phone, will you?
Yeah?
Yeah, I received a page. I have an ad in the paper. Was that you? What's your name?
Kim?
Yeah, I have an ad in the paper for a Super Nintendo. Was that you?
A Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Well, sorry to bug you, but, we were looking for a game system, but we bought one, so, sorry to bug you.
Well, mine's better. Mine's cheaper. Mine is what you want.
We got a Nintendo.
I have to scam more people. Thank you.
We already bought one.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a Super Nintendo, and I'm only gonna charge you $5.59.
For what?
The Super Nintendo.
I thought it was a Sega Saturn.
No, you're misinformed. What do you say? I think you should return what you bought and buy mine right away. Listen, I haven't got time to fool around here. I need a decision right away.
Well, then the answer is no.
It's a very reasonable price.
Alright, the system, the unit,
Yes.
is operational
Yes.
for $5
And 59 cents.
and 59 cents.
Wrapped.
What
You
about,
can't go wrong.
what about the games?
I don't have any games at the moment. I sold all those. But, what you can do is you can come over right away.
How you doing? I'm gonna patch you through. Hold on one sec.
It's pretty weird up there.
So that's where you're from?
That's where the moniker is from. Sure, yeah. You bet. Yeah, definitely.
I guess I should tell folks that I think I'm talking to the person or one of the people behind the Longmont Potion Castle calls that we hear very frequently on this program and have for years and years. And it took some tracking, a little bit of tracking you down because maybe for obvious reasons you're not, I don't know, the name you were born with is not publicly attached to the Longmont Potion Castle body of work.
Oh, yeah, that's factual.
Yeah. When did you start? Is it all you? Is it all one person? Is this all the work of one person?
I mean, 95, 97, 98% of it. There's a fellow or two in the background there. There's been somebody hopped on the line. There's no. But if anyone wants to look at it as a group or as a, kind of a group entity, that's fine by me. I've never dissuaded anyone from doing it, but that's okay too. But yes, it's my fault.
It's your fault. Blame you. And when did it start?
I started off, in the 80s, didn't I?
And
after school. It started after school.
So how old were you when you started doing this work?
4, 5, I want to say. Yeah, 14. Yeah, 14. Yeah, 14.
And did you always tape record it, or was it just for fun in the beginning?
It's taking a minute to rearrange how
what I have is it was for fun. It was for fun. It's a lot of fun.
I sound like I'm paid. I'm not really gotten.
Certainly fun to do.
When did you start tape recording them, or had you?
Gosh, when you're making a 180-minute album, it's also a lot of effort and work and concentration and focus and ebullient. So it's a cornucopia of elements, factors in there.
Let's talk about how people react. One of the things that always amazes me is how quickly people react to just wanting to kill you, and it sometimes happens within a matter of seconds. And it always, the amazing part of it is that they could always just hang up, but instead of hanging up, they talk about how their time is too valuable to talk to you.
I know, right? It strikes me as being pretty elemental.
Yeah, but people get so mad at you.
It's true. And that's where it ends. You know, no one really ever got hurt. Did
you ever regret any calls that you made? Did you ever feel bad when you hung up your side of the phone?
No.
Yeah.
Have you heard something that you felt went too far?
No, not at all. No, but...
Alex, sorry, I can't answer the phone personally right now.
I think that's okay. Alex Trebek for 100.
Just checking. I was just checking if you think things have gone too far, you know.
Yeah. Another thing I like is when people try to reason with you. You know, they try to talk you out of your whole life, basically. Son.
Yeah. That was unexpected.
Yeah. So this type of work is not everyone's cup of tea. I happen to like it very much.
Thank you.
And enjoyed listening to it. It's but not everybody's cup of tea. What do you say? Is there a way that you know? I don't want to over intellectualize it, but what's your?
That's good. That's important.
Yes, boy. Can't take your call now.
What do you say?
At the tone, please record your message.
I'm with you.
What do you say to folks whose it's not their cup of tea? Are they wrong?
I was eating a falafel one time on the sidewalk at a restaurant, and this guy came by on a bicycle. And I'd met him the weekend prior at a party. And he saw me there, and he stopped his bike, and he said, "Oh, hey, by the way, I played your CD for my neighbor." And she barely even got into it, dude. Okay, bye.
Right.
So, I mean, I finished my falafel. I'll put it that way. What are you going to do?
Are you vegetarian?
I'm not going to let my falafel go to waste. Oh, heck. Yes,
I had falafel last night, and I did.
Oh, yeah.
I felt good about it.
Oh, no.
So what percent of calls that you've made have you released?
Geez, you know, it's...
How many minutes recording is how many minutes released?
Like the ratio?
The ratio, good word.
Let's
talk ratio.
Okay, if you take volume 13, which is the newest release, that was 180 minutes, approximately 3 hours. And I probably rolled tape for 500 minutes, 600 minutes, so maybe triple the time. So it's about a 3-to-1 ratio, approximately. Yeah.
All right. Folks can go to longmontpotioncastle.com to find volume 13 and other volumes as well. One of the problems, or one of the things about prank calls, is that very often they were
talking about.
So I think a lot of people probably copied these and shared them with people. Did that make you unhappy?
I was not a happy camper in general. If I'm going to get perfectly candid, Michael.
Do these sell well? Have they sold well?
My album releases?
Yeah, your hits.
No, but the people who have them are generally happy.
Right.
And that's been enough.
Has been forwarded to an automated voice message.
So no.
So do you come before the Jerky Boys or after the Jerky Boys in the line of people that do your work?
I think it was concurrent, although they probably would say they were the first and everything. I was making cassettes in the 80s. I don't know. I certainly wasn't aware of them when I started in the mid-80s.
When you do this kind of work, do you sometimes have a beer or anything else that relaxes you?
Yes. Yes, I do.
And do you pick phone numbers from phone book or randomly or newspaper ads, or how do you know who to call?
I've got a plethora of sources.
You're into moisturization and Rolos and other things. What else are you into?
Oh gosh. I think that there's a lot of admiration and that deserve it. Masonry.
Masonry's good. So what are some rules to live by besides vegetarianism? What else? What other good advice do you have?
Destroy ancestor worship.
One of my favorite...
You're a separate person
than your ancestors.
That's right.
Let's talk about Mr. Underbaki if we could.
Mr. Underbaki, sure.
One of my all-time favorites, and I tried to look him up in the phone book, and it looks like he's not practicing anymore, unfortunately. Big fan of Mr. Underbaki. I just love him. I mean, I just love Mr. Underbaki and Associates, but primarily him.
He's something else. Is it Lewis? I think it's Lewis. Yeah, Lewis Underbaki.
I mean, did you call that guy a billion times?
A trillion.
Perhaps a trillion?
A quadrillion. And then what you hear on the album is the octillion. The octillion call there. No, I applied for a job there, and he was freaky, and he kicked me out. Have you ever gone in for a job and they hired you right then and you're supposed to start work immediately and drop what you're doing and your shift starts in 10 minutes?
Never.
And neither had I. And I didn't handle it very well, apparently. And I said, I can go to the airport.
Essentially, Underbaki, at the sound of the beep, please leave your name and phone number.
And so...
That's Underbaki. There he is. He sounds a little older.
Oh, and then he said, get up. Give me a call when you're serious. I ran into a guy who actually did work for that guy, and then at the holidays, the gift that he gave his employees was homemade soap. Homemade bars of soap, and that's what my friend got for his effort.
Wow.
Not a cash bonus, not any time off, not a, hey, good work, but no, here's something I'm supposed to rub all over my skin that came from your handiwork there. I don't know. I don't think so, my friend.
Yeah, I don't want to go into Mr. Underbaki's basement. Under any circumstance.
Yeah. Heck no.
So what about law enforcement? Have they ever contacted you?
Yeah.
And what do they say?
Oh, you mean in the old days?
Ever?
Hi. You there?
I'm still here, yeah.
You there? So law enforcement, they were just incredulous, and I brushed them aside.
So you denied?
I did. I remember something to the effect of, that other party was not interested in talking to me? Oh, I had no idea, because they told me they were. Okay, he said.
This is an interview with Longmont Potion Castle.
To convince the police officers that whack lives matter is the heart of what I was getting at.
Whack
lives? Those terms,
2 years ago, 10,000
terms,
viewers.
you really just kind of...
But this YouTube account only has 92 subscribers.
Let us all go.
My other favorite may be Rope, Mr. Rope.
Oh boy, that's cool.
That guy wants to meet you very badly.
Okay, that's what, 1987?
Yeah. Is it? That's amazing. So that's one of your older hits.
Yeah, that's going way back.
But it's
been forwarded to an automatic voice message system 3343.
Yeah.
What I love about that call, though, is it like a lot of your calls, that's why I asked earlier what percentage we get to hear, because it sounds to me like that guy knew you, because like after a few minutes he goes, no, I thought it was you. Like what we're hearing is just the boiling over.
Forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
You've done.
My approach has changed over time. Maybe with that guy, I would, or at that period when I was calling that guy, I might wake up in the middle of the night, say, and actually pick up the phone and call some of these numbers, as opposed to having a scheduled session on the books where I went for it during, set times. I might actually just call the guy and want to talk to him at 4 a.m. So that's kind of played into it too. When I did record it, he was aware that.
Isn't it funny that people were hardwired in with phones?
Yeah.
I guess you could take the phone off the hook.
A little bit.
This was the 80s, I believe. 87, he said?
Yeah, and then you went through a period where you just would call people kind of and threaten to whip them or something, and almost all of them were happy to meet you. They were almost immediate. They would, come on down and bring it. Were those people in Colorado? Those whip inviters?
Yeah, by and large, yeah.
Do you have a favorite call that you've...
That's a Colorado thing, I guess, yeah. Favorite hayseed?
Favorite all-time...
Favorite hayseed?
Favorite all-time telephone call that you've...
Favorite track?
Yeah, favorite track. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Number one hit.
Wow. I like the first album. I mean, if I had never done anything else in my life, and some people say I haven't, actually. But if I had never gone on to do anything besides that first album, there's some stuff on there that I like, that I enjoy hearing still, and we're coming up on 30 years. Nipper, the guy who was lifting weights. Oh.
This is from a year ago. This is
Instead of having a wrench that you need
another
to adjust
long-known
or
potion.
change
This is
different
called
sizes,
After the
this
Bellow.
automatically
Conversation with you right now, and in order to do that, like I'm pretty good with like going in without much of a plan and going with the flow of it, everything. But I have found that in doing that, I have to keep the technology as simple as possible. Like I simply cannot be worried about like anything besides the fact that a microphone's recording and that's it. Call it good from there. But you're twiddling knobs and doing this and stuff. Like I don't know what side of the brain does what, right and left, but I feel like these are two separate sides of the brain, operating technological effects and loops and things like that, and having a conversation with someone that's angling toward being something funny or weird. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna let that question crash and burn for you. Any thoughts on that?
I think I know where you're going with that. I probably would need a therapist to answer that accurately, But on the other hand, I've been doing this for a really long time now, so I've had a lot of practice. So on the one hand, it's just muscle memory, but on the other hand, I don't know how the brain works, or my brain works exactly down to the very neuron. I'm not sure. So probably a therapist would be able to tackle that question, or someone doing some postgraduate work, perhaps.
Have you ever called a therapist?
I'd have to think back on that. When I was younger, I was forced to see a therapist on a couple occasions, and I remember the outcome. I mean, it was court ordered. I made some phone calls that they set up a trace on, and the police came to my house, and I was court ordered to see a therapist. And the long story short is the summary of my visits were that I was resistant to treatment and I was anti-establishment is what the therapist had written down. I do remember that. But, I haven't had any trouble with the law since then. I was probably 16 when that happened. But calling therapists out, it's a good idea. I don't know. Doctors, any kind of doctor, they seem very hard to get on the phone.
Yeah.
They have a whole bureaucracy set up.
You've managed to get straight up celebrities on the phone. When did this start, and how did you do that? Without blowing anything in terms of how you go about your process or anything, but just to end up with Alex Trebek on a phone and everything. Eddie Money, which by the way is my first concert I ever saw. Eddie Money.
Do you remember who played with him? What other bands were on the bill?
My family was had a little booth at a festival in Palmdale, California, and Eddie Money was the entertainment.
Featured entertainment. Oh, I see.
At not a big music festival, at more like a small town suburban whatever. But it was the first time I kind of moseyed into a concert at the age of 9, and Eddie Money is lighting fake $100 bills.
Like a fair or something?
Exactly, like a fair type thing. He's lighting money on fire and stuff. It stayed with me.
He did?
Yeah.
Every time I ask you where the gravel's going to, you go, oh, the box is on the other side of the room. Where do you have the gravel going to?
Well, I'm on the dock, sir.
Well, you can't keep calling me up and telling me you got 1400. You guys are so goddamn fucking unprofessional. I can't believe it. So go fuck yourself.
There's no one way. It's all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
There used to be a magazine, and I think it was even free, I want to say. I'm not sure. Maybe I bought it, but it was called Pop Smear. And every issue, they would just publish celebrity phone numbers. And like I said before, I don't know who in the world they thought they were giving that information to. But it reached me, and I used it. And that's how I talked to Sidney Poitier and Barbara Walters, I want to say, Scott Baio. But then other people would send me numbers, like Alex Trebek. He published his phone number on this weird website and never took it off. And I guess you'd need to know where to look. But once I found out, I looked, and there it was. So contrary to some people, I knew instantaneously that it was Alex Trebek.
Right.
I mean, as soon as you said hello, it was over. I knew it was him. Some people claim that it's not him, and they're dumb.
Where did you get my digital signature?
From you. When? At the time of purchase.
And where was the purchase made?
Siam.
Siam?
Correct.
The country Siam?
That's all the data I have, sir. Apparently this is the third attempt here.
And this is sod.
Yes, sir.
Grass.
Something to do with the lawn, yeah. It's a big bundle of stuff here.
Well, you don't have my digital signature because I didn't give you my digital signature. I didn't order anything from Siam, and Siam is no longer in existence. It's Thailand now, so I don't know what Siam is.
Well, the whole thing's viewable online.
The whole thing is viewable online.
Your signature, the item itself, it's a real colorful bunch of stuff here.
Yeah.
And the payment details. So I can go ahead and take a credit card number here, and we'll just get everything.
No, you're not going to take a credit card number at all.
Yeah, Eddie Money was a referral. Alex Trebek was a referral, and so there's all kinds of methods.
Beautiful. So
would you get that, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm here.
It's funny, how often in the documentary and how often in things I read, people bring up the Jerky Boys, and that's the kind of thing that didn't resonate with me even remotely once at all.
In the United States Postal Service Customer Care Center.
Hello, this is Justin. You know when you think a certain kind of thing doesn't resonate with you because it never has, and then so I besides like being around some friends making prank calls when I was a kid and finding that funny because I knew the person on the other end or whatever, it just never kind of did anything. And then my brother and my friend and my brother, we played in a band and we like booked a tour. We're gonna go on a tour, and someone had given Volume 4 to my brother. And that, I feel like this is a story that, a Long Potion Castle story that gets told a lot, is like, we're going on a long drive, someone puts this on, and then people hear it in that captive moment. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And then you just fucking die. It just killed us.
Well, you mentioned you're on the West Coast, right?
Correct.
Yeah, maybe it's a regional thing. You know, the Jerky Boys are very New York, and I happen to like them, of course. And I don't know, maybe it's regional, but personal taste is a strange phenomenon. Sorry, I'm out of my gables right now, and Black Diamond, my stallion, is running wild right now. I'm sorry about that.
Black Diamond sounds great.
Yeah, let me go inside and close this door here. Okay, see, I'm more private now. You were saying, I apologize.
You're about to do a kind of reissue of like the full set of Volume 3, is that correct?
Yeah, that happened.
Is there a special significance of that one?
You know, thinking back to Volume 3, I remember when I was done with that one, it was 1995, and I remember, giving cassettes to people, and they knew I was working on it and stuff, and they'd say, is that done? And I'd say, it's finally done, and they'd be like, I need to get a cassette, because that's all I have are cassettes, and I remember more than one people, I would never use this word myself, but they said it was a masterpiece. They loved it. They loved that record, and that's their words, not mine. And then, as it turns out, that record turned 30 years old just recently. And, I always look around, and people who put out records put out reissues, and I was sort of enamored with that idea, and that seemed like a good one. Plus, content was there on the original that got dropped for CD, and then some of it was added back on later, and so I rounded up absolutely everything that was on that record, and then they did a 2 LP edition for the 30th anniversary there, and so that happened.
And so where can people find that?
I think that it's over.
It's done. It's gone.
I think so.
I thought I got something from DU Records like a week ago.
Yeah, it was last week, and it was very limited. There weren't thousands of them or anything.
Hell yeah.
It was a small batch. There was some cassettes and some records of that on that one. I haven't really delved into that kind of reissue world before, so gave it a shot.
You gave it a shot, and it went well. I think you started doing this stuff in the late 80s, 90s, 2000s, and here we are in 2025. The way people release sound and music has changed to like entirely over that time. How in the music releasing or audio releasing world does Long
Old Spice Fusion gives me 24/7 freshness. It's gentle on my skin, and it's mine.
Thought we had no secrets.
Oh, hey.
Time, how in the music releasing or audio releasing world does Longmont Potion Castle exist now? You record something, you make let's call it a record. What happens with that record? Where do you put it? How do people hear it? Yeah, just how do you do it?
It started, like I mentioned, I had cassettes from my friend for as far back as I can remember. And then I'd give them to people, and some people would buy them, and I'd take them to stores. Every time I went on a trip, I went to all the record stores I could, and I brought them to stores all over the place. And sometimes they'd consign them, sometimes they'd buy them. And then I just wanted to get with a label, and then eventually labels got interested and distributed them for me, and I did records for certain labels over the years.
Yeah.
Giving you a little extra information here.
Yeah.
And then I decided to take on a lot of the clerical stuff as well, and just kind of go direct, have a website, and have a little imprint, and just go direct with the records myself. That's kind of how that evolved, or how we arrived here at any rate, you know.
And now in a place where, like, where are you at on, like, some of these songs scattered about on YouTube, Spotify, things like that?
I'm not fond of Spotify. I'm just not. I have no desire to use it. I'm just one of those people. I mean, you know, so YouTube is okay. Things come and go there. Everybody tells me I should have my stuff on SoundCloud or Bandcamp. SoundCloud I don't like because it defaults everything to alphabetical. You can't sequence things the way you want, which I think is absolutely ridiculous.
It's crazy.
And Bandcamp is better, but I just, you know, I don't know. I have a website. I guess I'm old school, probably. These sites were much, much later than when I started doing my thing. So, you know, they're cool for some people, and that's excellent. That's awesome.
I think
just for me, you know, I dabbled in them, and I don't really use them. I know that I have my own favorites list on YouTube, and then when I go back to it, you know, half the things are gone. So that's just kind of the nature of some of this stuff.
Yeah, I don't think your hesitance around things like Spotify are unfounded. I think even while people find them convenient, it's got their hooks in them more than, like, they just think it's amazing and a great way for the system to work. In reality, it's kind of not. Probably similar to like Amazon or something. But
you know what I learned recently is that, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been hearing that Spotify is actually fabricating bands to put at the top of their playlist. They kind of barely exist, so that they can, you know, look with the smoke and mirrors is what I'm understanding. I don't know if that's true or not.
I read that. There's a book coming out called Mood Machine. I would love to interview that writer. I don't know. It's a thing that I've seen over the last, like, 5-10 years of my life is, like, people, I think the quote she used in, like, the book sleeve or whatever is, like, music not as, like, art that someone is making, but as, like, texture and vibe. And I've, like, gone into a lot of rooms or, like, hung out in a lot of environments where it's, like, the music in this space is more to replace silence, which nobody wants, which is, like, scary almost. And what used to be someone making songs that some might make you feel good, some might make you feel bad, all of them, some might make you feel calm and perfectly down the middle or whatever, but that's being replaced by something that's easy and easier to produce, which is a thing that's just there to, like, keep you in a mood and doesn't even need to be necessarily be made by a human anymore. It just feels true in my life, you know? I don't know.
I do. I think and it sounds like you, I definitely relate to music much more deeply than that, and I don't subscribe to that thinking at all, and it's much more important, and I'll use the word sacred. I'll go ahead and use that word to me than some of these things. It's just gotten very trendy. It's beyond trendy at this point, and yeah, it's off-putting.
I have found that, like, throughout my whole life, I'm a bad person to pick the music at a party or a thing like that. It's because, like,
you don't do any of this?
Fuck, man. I should.
You're not a DJ?
Absolutely.
Come on, it's fun.
I literally have no comprehension of how, like, what are DJs doing when they do that? Is the song playing and they're doing that, or is there no song playing and they're just making a silent record scratch that does that?
It's an excellent question. I know a lot of people who ask me that question. I don't know the answer. I mean, live sound is a whole nother thing besides studio work, and live sound are two different animals.
What did you think of, like, so you have a lot of background in metal?
DJs are just another, level beyond it, as far as I'm concerned. Who knows what's going on there? But yeah, I'm sorry.
you have a background. I'm gonna be like ignorant to like subgenres and things like that, so allow me that. But there's a lot of like metal interludes and everything on all these records, and you're playing those and recording them and everything. What did you think of like the mid late '90s new metal moment? That's a DJ. That's a segue from the DJ moment.
No, I caught that. I would say that, like, let's just say Korn. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know if I want to use the term guilty pleasure, but there's some songs from that period that I like, and that I don't readily admit that I like them. But that's how I describe it.